Hey everyone, Get That Small here for the first ever episode of Ready Layer 2. Every week, we're going to bring you the story of another Arbitrum builder. They might be building a new DeFi application or a payments platform or a game. Or they might be building a content platform like this podcast or a newsletter or even just a great series of Twitter threads. The fact is, it's going to take all kinds of builders building all kinds of useful things to help the Arbitrum ecosystem reach its true potential. Today's guest is building a community. He goes by 0xThade, and he's building the Primapes Alpha Hub and DAO. This project has a number of components we get to explore. It's an NFT collection, it's a token-gated Discord channel, it's a series of bots and tools, and most importantly, it's a thriving community. Thade walks us through each of these components and tells us how he put it all together. What I love about this story and why I made it the first episode is because it's completely accessible. You don't have to be a dev, and you don't have to have a ton of capital. If you have an idea and you're willing to put in the work, then you can get started today with what you already have. Thade is going to show you how. And now, a general disclaimer, this can be true for every episode and everything we cover on the show. Number one, I will always disclose if I'm a user or if I own a token or an NFT or anything related to the project or if I have any other potential conflicts of interest. Number two, I am not vouching for any of the founders that I bring on. I'm learning about them and I'm doing it out in the open so you can learn too. Again, if I know them or if I've worked with them, I'm going to disclose that. Most of these conversations you hear on the show, it'll be the first time I've ever spoken to the guest. Number three, do your own research. I'm going to introduce you to interesting people and tools that might help you build. This should just be one input in a thorough vetting process. It's just one input into my own. Number four, this is not financial advice. We may talk about prices and trends and things like that when they're relevant to the conversation, but that will never be the point. We are here to learn and we're here to build. Welcome to Ready Layer 2 with me, Get That Small. This is a podcast for the founders, innovators, and experimenters building the future of Web3 on Arbitrum. So, Thade, I met you early on in the space. I've only been in the Arbitrum and crypto Twitter, if you will, for, I don't know, maybe going on a year now. And I'll say this right out of the gates is you're one of the first people that welcomed me into the space and set it up for what I came to expect from the people, in particular in Arbitrum. Just super welcoming and helpful and always ready to answer questions. So, number one, thank you for that. And number two, thank you for taking the time to come talk with us today. I want to share all about your project, Primapes. So let's start you off right there. What is Primapes?
Yeah, so Primapes, when I started it, I went on Twitter and I asked if people were looking for kind of like an alpha chat to, talk about upcoming projects, new projects, what they're buying and stuff like that. I already had a Discord, man. My brother and I were actually going to start an NFT project. It was going to be built on top of NFT Worlds, but NFT Worlds got taken down by Microsoft or whatever. So I already had a server built. And I had all the channels in there and everything. So I just used that server. And then I had this art made already and like a collection generated. So I just decided to make the server like token gated and make the own the NFT, and then you get access to Alpha Hub channels and whatnot.
Yeah, right on. And then so inside those channels, and I'll say for full disclosure is I do actually own two of the Primapes NFTs, and I come into the Discord a bit. I'm not super active in the DeFi space yet, so I don't take full advantage of everything you guys are doing there. But just for the listener, I do participate a bit, and I do own some of the NFTs, so I just want to make that clear. But Thade, so tell us, what is it? Obviously, Alpha coming in, talking about new coins, talking about airdrop potentials, things like that. Give us just a quick breakdown. Like, what are the types of things that you offer inside of the Discord?
So there's always people talking in there, posting new protocols they find that are coming out on Arbitrum. And it's not only Arbitrum. We talk about stuff on ETH and other chains too. There's different channels for NFTs or airdrops coming up, potential airdrops, early projects that are doing pre-sales and stuff. Shitcoins, obviously, people a lot of shitcoins have been popping off on Arbitrum lately.
Yep.
And then we're also we're using most of the funds that we got from Mint. First of all, we didn't mint out, so we have a very small treasury. So we wanted to use those funds to make tools and bots to better the experience in the server. And then we also want to, as the treasury grows, we want to invest in these new protocols, invest in the Arbitrum ecosystem, and invest in builders to build under the Primapes name to build these new protocols and stuff for Primapes.
Got it. Right on. I want to talk about the actual process you went here for building out both the NFT project and the Discord server and just everything you went through to actually launch a project like this. Talk me through the steps. You said you kind of already set the groundwork for it, is you and your brother were working on this NFT project, and that was the start of it. So what did you have from that project, and what were the steps to get you to that starting point?
Yeah, so pretty much from that project, the only thing I used was the server that I had already made.
Okay. So
Um,
the Discord server.
yeah, the Discord
Got
server,
it.
and then I just renamed it and I redid some of the channels and stuff. But I already had because I was planning on just because I always wanted to use like my own profile picture
Yep.
that I made. So I was going to do like a free mint anyway for this collection. But then I started connecting with people from Arbitrum. And by the way, the community on Arbitrum is like very welcoming and everybody like seems to like work together.
Yeah, right on.
So I asked if people wanted to do the like join an alpha chat, invited a bunch of people to my server. And then I already had the art made. So what I did was I reached out to I don't know how long you've been in NFTs, but there's another project called DistoPunks on Ethereum. Then there's a developer that is also a DistoPunk holder, and he's done work with other projects like Bones Club on ETH. So I reached out to the developer and I just asked him if he was able to help with launching the contract and the website, and he was able to do it. So from the server, I have like people that form like the Primape cartel, and those are the people that are like they have access to do the alpha calls. I go to them for suggestions with the server and like running the project pretty much and managing the treasury. And I asked them to help me with like partnerships and ask them for their opinions on stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much it's been pretty easy to be honest. Like after the initial launch, we only kept the whitelist mint. I think we did like a free mint for a few days for the people that got in the server early, the OGs, and then the public mint. It lasted, the public mint and the whitelist mint lasted a week, and then after that we just closed it. So there's only 1,007 Primapes minted, and then I think that was a big part of like why the floor price actually went up a bit, because the mint was like what 0.03 ETH I think.
Right.
And then once we closed the mint, people wanted to get in, and it quickly rose to over 0.1.
Yeah, right on. I think that's where it's sitting now, at 1.14 or something, somewhere around there for the set of 1,000. Yeah, that's very cool. So I would say a couple more questions, and we'll get to what your expectations were in that. But like, how did you do the actual artwork? You mentioned you already had that done. What was the process of creating the artwork?
Yeah, so the artwork there's another project called Commoners.
Okay.
It's by Commonopoly. I found out about him because he actually does a lot of smalls derivatives. Like last year I found out about him. So he launched a project a few months ago called Commoners, and it's CC0
Right.
art project.
Yep.
So I just took their ape model and I flipped them, and I actually it's a website called pixilart, pixilart.com, I think.
Okay.
And I just used the apes models and I recolored them, and I took inspiration from Cyberkong's traits.
Yep.
And then I clicked squares on pixilart.com for a few weeks and then generated all the traits. And then there's a website called bueno.art where you can actually upload all your traits and generate collections on there.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how the art came about.
Gotcha. And I assume does each of those platforms have like fees associated with whatnot, or are these free tools?
Yeah, so Bueno, you can use it for free. You can upload your art on there, but to actually generate the collection, I think I generated 3,333 collection.
Okay.
And it costs like 0.333 ETH. So
okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super accessible. So that's cool. So you start with CC0 art. For anybody who doesn't know, Creative Commons 0, basically that is you can take it, you can repurpose it, commercial or otherwise, do whatever you want with it. So you take those, you remodel them using the pixel art, took them up to Bueno and created the collection, and now you've got an NFT collection. Paired that up with a Discord server, which I've never set one up, but I imagine that's a fairly straightforward process too, right?
Yeah, it can get kind of tiring, and you have to set the roles and accessibility. If it's going to be token gated, you have to make sure like each server can be only accessed by certain roles. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Gotcha. Very cool. So and again, the point of this show is like to help someone thinking about this. Like I have an idea. How do I go execute on it? The actual technical mechanics of this here aren't too complicated, right? You got to go, you got to figure it out. You got to spend a little bit of money, spend a bunch of time, I'm sure. But technical components don't sound too challenging at all. Was there anything, at least from the technical side, that you did struggle with or need help with or find just surprisingly difficult for whatever reason?
For me, like I'm not a developer or anything. I don't know any like coding or dev work. So the only thing that I was hands-on with was the art and creating the server and getting people in the server.
Yep.
So for the dev work, I think from the mint, for the developer for the smart contract and the website, I gave the developer 1.5 ETH from the mint, and I also paid, I think like 1,000 or 1,500 or something like that, or
Okay.
maybe a little less than 1,000.
Gotcha. Again, pretty accessible to start a project like this for someone out there thinking to do it, but it's got to matter, right? You can technically pull something like this together, but you got to get people interested. You got to deliver value and whatnot, and that's the hard part, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there are bigger hype projects that that are doing stuff that require a lot more dev work and require like a way cleaner, more interactive website and a bigger team and more money. But for something that I was doing where obviously I wanted to get a bigger treasury so we can do more stuff. But for something like this where it's just like a token gated alpha group, for now at least, it wasn't too really complicated on the like the technical side of it.
Yeah, right on. No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. I'm sure that'd be super helpful to some of the listeners. Now, you're also working on, so like you said, you want to build up treasury so you can build on top of this stuff. And you've been doing that and putting out different bots and things like that. There's a GMX bot that just went live. Talk to me about that. What are some of the bots that have gone live, and what is that process like?
Yeah, so for the alpha bots, we just have the first one that came out was just a regular like new token tracker and new token pairs that launched on like Sushi or Uniswap. That's pretty standard. There's a lot of Discords and a lot of Telegram groups that have that. But for the GMX bot, we had one of the guys in the cartel, his name is Maisie. He had a custom dashboard built for us that tracks the top 100 traders on GMX by Sharpe ratio, and Sharpe ratio pretty much is like risk to reward.
Yep.
So it's not like the highest P&L or anything, but they've been proven to be profitable traders.
Okay.
So we're tracking them, and we are refreshing that. We're tracking the top 20 to go to the bot, and we're refreshing that list every month. So the bot, it shows whenever they open a new position on GMX, it shows when they close and when they update. And also if they get liquidated, it alerts us as well. We want to do bots for other trading platforms like Gains. Gains just went on to Arbitrum. There's a new DEX called MUX that just launched on Arbitrum. So we want to do bots for all of them and get custom dashboards built. And so yeah, pretty much that's just how it works. Our bot maker, his name is Spadefish. He's in the cartel as well. So he pretty much put the whole thing together with Maisie's help of getting the dashboard built.
Got it. Now, is that like custom coding that's happening inside of Discord as a platform, or are they built external to Discord and then, integrated into it somehow?
I'm not entirely sure how it works. So I think how it works is it's code that just reads stuff on the GMX contracts. And then whenever we tell it to track these addresses, and whenever they interact with the contract, it just shoots an alert to our Discord. But I'm not entirely sure how it works, to be honest.
So then you said you're refreshing it monthly. So you're refreshing the wallets that you're watching monthly based on that index, but the alerts are pretty much real time.
Yeah, they're real time. And then we actually haven't done a wallet refresh yet because it's been out for, I don't know, like two going on 3 weeks now. So at the end of the month, we're going to refresh it. And hopefully, because there has been this one trader who's been really unprofitable. So hopefully he won't be on that list anymore. But yeah, we're going to refresh at the end of the month.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So going through this process so far, is there anything that you look back and you think, man, I really wish I would have known X, Y, or Z before I started this project, or it would have been helpful if I had known X, Y, or Z before I started? Does anything like that come to mind?
I think maybe it would have been more minted if I waited a little bit and let the community grow and show results that
Okay.
we're profitable and stuff like that. Maybe I have ideas like I wanted to make auctions or give people that are contributing in the server free mints, and then for profitable, that'll lead people to want to mint or buy Primapes. But I can't think of really anything else that I would have changed, to be honest.
Okay. So overall, then it sounds like you're pretty happy with the way things have gone so far. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's ended up decent. I think like there are also not that many tools for NFTs on Arbitrum. Like I really like sudoswap on ETH, where
Mm-hmm.
it's you can create like a liquidity pool for NFTs so people can swap in and out of that pool. So I hope there's something being built for like that on Arbitrum, or sudoswap comes over to Arbitrum, or maybe some developers in Primapes can build something like that. But yeah, I really like sudoswap. I think that being able to, because we have a lot of Primapes in the treasury, we can create a liquidity pool and put some funds from the treasury into the pool to make Primapes liquid, and then we earn fees from the trading going in and out of the pool.
Right.
So ultimately, I think that would be good for the treasury. So hopefully something gets built like that for Arbitrum.
Yeah, right on. So you mentioned that you were thinking about the potential for like auctions and things like that. Are you saying kind of like one of those rolling auctions where you mint a new primate every X days or weeks or something like that, and that goes up for auction, something along those lines, or different mechanism?
Yeah. So are you aware with nouns?
Yeah,
Nouns down?
that's exactly what I was thinking. Nouns is doing that, and a
Yeah.
couple of different DAOs I've seen using that model.
Yeah, so they do every 24 hours. There's a new auction that starts.
Hmm.
I wanted to do something a little different where an auction doesn't start until a bid is placed, and it would just be and it has to be over 0.01 ETH, and then after that it's just whatever.
Ah, okay, that's interesting.
Um,
So basically, let somebody raise their hand and say, "I'm ready. I want to come in,"
right.
and then that opens it up to the auction. I like that. That's a unique idea.
Yeah, the auction would start once a bid is placed, and then it would last for 24 hours, and then the next auction would be available to bid, and then it doesn't start until someone bids on it. And because we do have we have something like 200 something Primapes in the treasury, I think. So I eventually want to do auctions as the floor price goes up for Primapes.
Then you could do that for quite a while without increasing the size of the collection then too. Yeah, very cool. All right, so as you kind of like looking ahead, you got this thing launched, you've been at it for a couple of months, you're happy with the way things are going. As you look ahead, like what would success look like to you, say 2 years from now? What do you hope this thing turns into?
So we're already like in talks with a bunch of new protocols coming to Arbitrum. So it'll be cool to have as our treasury grows, have a bigger treasury to invest in these protocols. We have more active people in the Discord contributing and talking about all these new stuff coming out. Hopefully, we like in the future we can get some more like developers and builders into the Discord to build these stuff that we're envisioning, like for these like a pseudo swap alternative for liquidity pools. I eventually want to do something to give real yield to primate holders, just like they can either claim rewards or stake to claim their rewards paid in ETH or USDC, like some profit sharing from the treasury or whatnot, or be able to take funds from the treasury, yield farm, and pay rewards to primate holders, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of ideas, but we obviously aren't able to work on everything because we're limited with what we have in the treasury. We just don't want to like put everything all into one basket.
Yeah, no, totally understand. So, to the folks that are listening here, who would you say is an ideal candidate that would get value from joining Primapes? How would you describe someone like the ideal user, if you will, of the system?
Yeah, so I mean, if you are active in crypto, Web3, NFTs, DeFi, and you can dish out, like right now, I think floor is coming up to 0.15 ETH. If you can dish out that much money and you are willing to be active in the Discord and take the trades, because we do have people like in the Primapes cartel, we do like alpha calls, and there are people in the community that are always saying, hey, I bought this token. If you're willing to take the trade, you're willing to learn, and you want to be around other people that want to make money with you, I think Primapes is for you. There are a lot of people that I think like you might come into the Discord, it could be overwhelming. There's a lot of channels, and there might be a lot of people in there just posting a lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff. So if you don't really have the time to to be in there at least for, I don't know, a couple hours a day. It might not be worth it to you, but there are some trades that take a while to play out. I think you'd be able to make your money back just by being active in the Discord for a month. After a month, then you pretty much made your money back, and then you just have a Primate for free pretty much.
Yeah, right on. And like I said, I haven't been super active myself, but I have found it valuable to be able to pop in there and ask questions when I'm trying to do different things. And I have plans to get in there and be more active and jump on some of these shitcoin calls and experiment with you guys some more. I've seen value from it, is what I'm saying. So if you fit that description, I think it's worth checking things out. So where would you point people to? Obviously, they can go and purchase the NFT on OpenSea or whatever market they prefer, and then hit the Discord channel and get verified and all that. And that's how you get involved. Where else can they go to learn more?
Yeah, you would go to OpenSea, or Tofu is another Arbitrum marketplace, and you can buy Primape. You would go to our Discord, go to the Collabland server, and verify your wallet that you own a Primape. And then you can also check out our website. It's primapes.gg, primapes.gg, just to learn more information, see who are our alpha callers in the Primate cartel and whatnot. And then also, I just want to go back to that last question about utility and what you can expect when you buy a Primape. We're also like a DAO. Like right now, our treasury is so small that we're just managing it without making proposals and whatnot. But if you own 3 Primapes, you can create a proposal on what you think would be a good idea to spend money on from the treasury, stuff like that. So we definitely want to make more proposals as time goes on and get the community more involved to vote on this stuff and vote how to use funds in the treasury.
Yeah, right on. And for that right candidate, someone who does want to go in there, be active like that, and have a hand in driving forward some of the different ideas that you talked about and other ideas too, that, again, pretty accessible thing to go do right now for anybody that might be interested. So yeah, very cool. And then you're active on Twitter as well. What's your handle there for people to get connected with you?
Yeah, on Twitter, it's 0xThade, Thade.
Right on. And I know you wrote a couple of Medium articles about this. I'll link all that stuff up in the show notes. Actually, and that leaves me with one last question, is that second Medium article you wrote was about program for Primapes. Refresh me about I'm going to say the name wrong. It was basically about measuring who's bringing value to the server and creating a reward system for them a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's called Alpha Earners Program, or AEP.
Yep.
It's pretty much, it's set up like a forum on the Discord. You can create a post, and then inside the post you would put information about whatever you're posting about. And then we partnered, or we're collaborating with Camelot. Camelot Dex is an Arbitrum native exchange, and they are paying us in USDC to give rewards to the people that are contributing alpha for the Alpha Earners Program. So pretty much you would post about your project, and then we would rate at the end of the month, like your performance, how informative it was and whatnot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So like the Alpha Earners Program, you can post alpha in there and earn rewards based on performance.
Yeah, right on, man. So again, just lots of opportunities for people who are looking to be active, though, right? You're gonna have to do things to make these types of things happen. But yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also, like you said, it's not the most complex project in the world, but like to have this kind of step-by-step framework that you just shared here for somebody who has an idea and had no idea where to start, this type of stuff's going to be immensely helpful. So thank you so much for taking the time and being willing to share some of the behind the scenes and the details of getting this thing going, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, rock on. I will put, like I said, everything linked up in the show notes. And 0xThade, thank you so much. Check out Primapes, and we'll see you next time on Ready Layer 2.
Later, guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Ready Layer 2. If you're an Arbitrum builder with a story to share, then hit me up on Twitter at GitSmall, GITSMOL. Learn more at gitsmall.com.